because a long time ago, someone decided to plant a tree. Okay, someone decided to plant that tree a long time ago. And with that, life happens. Life has ups and downs. As we navigate the corridors of life, we forget stuff and we remember stuff. And we have family and we move to different states, we move to different places, and we acquire stuff. Yes, we have cars, we have homes, real estate, land, and all those things are important because you work for it. You got up and went to work every day, whether it was for yourself or for someone else. And as life happens, we don't want to forget those things. And one of the things that Daniel Scott Anderson worked for was for that 400 acres of land. And many of you have land in real estate. And so I just wanted to talk about the importance of preservation and importance of planning. And those two things go hand in hand. So if you could imagine a young student out of high school, maybe out of college, early in life, they're getting ready to start life and are in the stages of planning. They went to school, they've got a big time degree, they want to show that they've made it in life. They want a big fancy house, or maybe a modest house, nice car, nice clothes, to say to their family and friends that I've made it. That's the planning stage. Maybe you're a mid-level family. Maybe you're on your first kid or second kid, working on maybe your second property. That's still the planning stage. And there's a place for the planning stage, and I'm gonna merge it with the preservation stage. The preservation stage, simply put, is if your grandma, grandpa, great-grandma, great-grandpa, you are in the preservation stage because you've already done it. You've already bought the house, the car is already paid for, the house is paid for. You probably got a little money in the bank already, and you're thinking, how do I preserve my legacy? How do I pass it on down? How do I make sure that it's here? So that's what I want to do today, is just kind of remind you of some things, give you strategy more than anything to kind of think of, food for thought. This is not for everybody, and this is not a one-all catch-all thing, but it's just something to think about, put it on your mind, of things that you can do to try and preserve your legacy for future generations. And so we want to try to merge the two, and one of the best ways to merge the two, the preservation people that want to leave something behind, is to get with the future generation and let them know your intentions. Have that conversation early. It won't be always an easy conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to happen early and often. Let it be said more than once. Maybe you don't want to spoil every event, every birthday party, every anniversary, but let your younger generations know what your intent is with your property, with your land, with your home, with your car. Let them know, because one of the best ways to preserve your legacy is for them to honor your wishes and what you want done with the things that you worked hard for. And you want to try to match it up. One of the things that I thought about was generational wealth. I know for people my age, 40, younger, a big thing for us is generational wealth, and how do we create generational wealth? Well, it starts simply with the things that these people have already worked for and paid for. We all want that new house, but maybe before we buy that new house straight out the gate, maybe we have a conversation with grandma, great-grandpa, and say, hey, what do you plan to do with your property before I go out and spend thousands and hundreds of thousands on a new property? Save some of that money, retain some of it, and you can put it somewhere else for it to grow or to do something else. So we have to match the preservation people with the planning people and get them to come together and see what are some of the basic strategies that we can do to preserve what someone has already worked for. Kind of like what we do, maybe somebody just had a baby, and we know somebody has an old baby bed. We're just matching the two of them. Maybe somebody has an old couch, and we know someone that needs a couch. Well, that's kind of what we do with property and land, is match the two up. You're a younger generation, you need somewhere to stay. Instead of building a new house or a bigger house, how about we add on to grandma and grandpa's, great-grandma and grandpa's, redo the kitchen, remodel the restroom before we go out and buy a whole new property. And I share this strategy with you because it's been done for legacies, and I know I couldn't think of anybody else to say that does this as the best example, but the Queen of England, they lived in the same palace for hundreds and hundreds of years. They just pass it down from generation to generation, and they make those modifications and updates. So the next part of the preservation strategy is, one of the things that can hamper your preservation strategy is income taxes or property taxes and home insurance. And so keeping that property maintained is also another thing that can prevent us from preserving the legacy and properties that our ancestors have already paid for. And so just some really quick things. I haven't heard anybody jiggle the keys yet, so I'm assuming I got 2 more minutes at least. Some of the things that you can do to try and get the property to pay for itself, or to keep up with the income taxes, or the home insurance, or even just maintenance, cutting the grass, windows, roof, things of that sort, is income strategies. Maybe having an ATV trail on your property, especially those people that live on Anderson Road, or maybe you have more land somewhere that's not on Anderson Road, that's maybe 100 acres or 6 acres. You can put a little ATV trail on there. Another big thing is riding trails right now. Another income strategy is people that have gardens, grow watermelon, squash, have people come out, pick those things. Maybe glamping, set up a campsite or a tiny home site on the property to generate some type of income. And of course, I think we all know we can do livestock, but sometimes livestock can be very labor intensive, going out feeding and worming and checking them and things of that sort. But those are all strategies that I just wanted to share with y'all really quickly. I think my speech was probably 2 minutes longer than this, but that was just something they wanted me to get up and kind of really speak on, is preserving the legacy, preserving the properties that your mom and dad, your grandma, grandpa have already paid for, the assets that they've already acquired. Try to take heed, try to use them as a benefit before we just let them go, throw them down the drain, and let them go by the wayside. So I know life is quick, life happens, but I think it's really important that we consider that as we move on, especially the younger generations. And so I'll leave that with you. Sorry it's quick, I didn't know how much time we have, but I would also like you to, it's not an easy conversation. Sometimes I know in our household, I hear it all the time. I don't care what y'all do with it when I'm gone. But it's still, that's something, that's a starting point to have that conversation early and have it often about what you have done. And another preservation strategy to keep in mind is the younger generations don't really know about the land or know about your house unless you share that with them. Share the memories, share what the struggle was for you to buy, share the struggle of how long it took you to pay that off, so that the younger generations have something to connect to. So that's my time to get up and encourage everybody with words of wisdom to preserve what you already have, try to use it, make the best use of it, and build generational wealth. And so I leave all of you. I hope you all leave this place today with peace in your heart, so that we may have more peace in this world. Thank you.